Welcome, football fans, to the 2023 Yellow Jacket Football Show. I'm Carl Gurgis with my sidekick here, Yellow Jacket head coach James Gage. Coach, I know offense is for show, but boy, the defense came along the other night great. Offense was as usual, and it did a great job. I tell you what, it's you pick which one you want to go to first, offense or defense, but have at it.
You know, it feels good just to be back. You know, feels good to be back in this seat, sitting here talking football with you again. And what an exciting way to start the season off last week in front of an impressive home crowd. You know, to come away with a victory week one is always huge for the kids. And we've had a lot of kids this week that played their first ever varsity football game. So being able to get out there and get a lot of kids in and having the success that we did was huge for our kids and their confidence.
Well, a good crowd, first start of the year. You got a full season ahead of you. You got an anxious bunch. And, of course, starting out with the type of win that you did, I know you've got some highlights, too, that we'll see in a few moments.
Yeah, we'll get to those in a moment. But it was a defensive, great defensive effort out of us Friday night. And, Lorenzo Lewis had a big interception early on, kind of gave us some momentum to get back up a couple scores. Later on in the game, Jalen Peterson, he blocked a punt and had a big play. Devin Mack recovered it in the end zone. But I think we created 4 turnovers the other night, had a couple big sacks. We held them to 77 yards. So anytime you hold the opponents to 77 yards, you're going to give yourself a chance to win.
Well, if you get four turnovers in any game and a couple of them result in touchdowns, you'd take them any day.
Yeah, absolutely. And anytime your defense can get off the field in a hurry and give your offense back out there, that's always always exciting too for to get out there and try to get put some points on the board, especially early on. But no, our defense did a great job getting it back to the offense, and then offense did a great job executing. And then we played really well in the special teams as well, especially being the first game.
Well, I know you've got some highlights, and we're going to see them in a few moments. So we'll be back in one moment, but let's first take this break. Well, Coach, it was 35-0 by halftime. I know you've got plenty of offense and defensive highlights, so let's jump right in.
All right, let's look at them. So this was the third play of the game. Riley Pavlis was able to get around the edge there and hit him with a big play, obviously, for the score. I think it was a 53-yard touchdown run. But yeah, that was obviously a great way to start second play of the game, or second offensive play of the game. But you see the downfield blocking was huge there. Get a great block out of Jaden Higgins, and then right there kind of at the back end of the clip, you see Isaac Hernandez get a block on somebody, kind of rolls him up right here. You see two running backs get a pancake there. So, but the effort, you see guys running down the field, and obviously the excitement was there. So, what a great way to start the season off. Yeah. Last year we scored on our very first play, so it took us 3 plays this year to score. So I guess we're a little bit behind offensively, but no, it was obviously an exciting time. So this was still late in the first quarter. I think the score's 21-0 at this time, maybe 14-0. But Drew Bingham playing his first ever varsity football game. You may have heard the Bingham name around here before, but he's playing safety and then also playing some quarterback for us. But he pulls the football right there, gets around the edge, and he had a tremendous offseason where we felt like he really developed a little bit of speed to him, and he kind of showed some of that speed right there once he gets around the edge.
How tall is he?
He's about 6'1". Right now he's long though. He looks a little bit taller on film than what he is, but if he'll ever grow into his body, he's gonna be a big old kid. But yeah, he's a phenomenal athlete, only a junior for us, so we're excited for him and his future. So this was second quarter. There's Braden Griffin at quarterback. We're kind of working 2 quarterbacks right now. Braden started 9 games for us last year as a junior, back as a senior this year. And same exact play that Bingham scored on a while ago, just to the right side this time. But obviously great job blocking right there at the point of attack by our offensive line. And then Higgins right there, number 1, gets another great block, kind of gets his guy pinned inside and allows Braden to get to the edge and kind of beat them to the pylon right there. But, We've been running this offense now for 5 years, and so it's clicking, and it's good that it's clicking early on. So we're excited to see where we can move forward to with it. All right, this was third quarter. This made it 42-0 right here. That's Sammy Fernandez making his first ever varsity game, and he kind of gets stuck behind a wall right there, but just kind of spins off of it. And then, their backside end kind of quit on the play, but, he didn't quit on it. He spun off, found a little crease, and was able to get in the end zone. But they did a good job kind of bottling it all up right there, but he kind of just hid behind that wall and then just kept his feet moving and was able to, get in for his first ever varsity touchdown. So that actually made it 35-0. This made it 42-0. This was about midway through the third quarter. That's Zane Bailey, who's a junior for us, tight end, defensive end. He started at defensive end for us last year as a sophomore, and then went over to baseball and started for them as a sophomore. But he's a tremendous athlete. But this was a little play-action pass right here for us, and Braden Griffin with the great touch right there on it and the perfect pass to him. So we kind of had them. It was a third and short situation. Their safeties were starting to creep up, and we were able to kind of sneak in right behind. So that's a big boy to sneak behind somebody, but he's got great feet and soft hands for a big tight end. So we're hoping for a big year out of him, only being a junior too.
Well, okay, Coach, we've got some other highlights and other activities, so take it from here.
Yeah, this was their second series. Well, actually, this was our first series of defense right here. We were up 7-0, and Lorenzo Lewis comes in at the cornerback position, undercuts the post, and comes up with a big interception. And that play right there was actually voted on to be our big play of the week this week for our program. So that got us the ball back, and then we went up and scored pretty quick after that to make it 14-0. And so anytime you get an interception early on in the game and give your team another possession is big. So that was our big play of the week right there. So there we are, stretching it out again. That's Jose Batista right there. Again, he's keeping that outside arm free, and then Dennis Peterson getting over the top, making that tackle again. So 2 first-time starters right there on defense, getting to the football and making good plays. All right, so they try to go a little boot scheme here, and we eat it up in the backfield right there. That's Josiah Miller, who's a junior. He played 1 game up last year as a sophomore, but he had a heck of an offseason for us, and we're really excited to have big things out of him. Yes, he's quick for a big guy, strong, but he's smart and he's physical too. So, he's playing at the perfect position for us. But we're excited that he's only a junior for us. And
You've
Sammy,
got some big youngsters in that middle.
We're probably a little bit bigger than we've been. At least the last couple of years. We're still not as big as some of the teams we'll play, but our kids had a tremendous offseason putting on muscle mass, and the one thing that we're trying to preach to our kids is just continue to eat and build up your muscles as much as you can.
Well, go to the ball.
That's it.
Exactly what he did.
That's it. A little counter scheme there, and that's Chris Macias right there, 52. He played a bunch last year as a sophomore for us, but he's going to have a heck of a year for us. He's playing both ways. He's playing a little bit of center on offense for us, but his primary position is defensive line, and he does a great job running the heel line of that pulling tackle right there, and able to run the running back down in the backfield. So he also is our deep snapper on punt and PAT. So we're excited to have a big year out of him. Again, excited he's only a junior.
From an outsider looking in, it looks as if the team is quicker this year. I don't know, maybe I'm just seeing
we do feel like we have more skilled kids this year, but in certain areas. And so we've got a lot of kids going both ways, which is not necessarily ideal at the 6A level, but we feel like we've got some kids that can help us both ways. And so we talked as a coaching staff all offseason and said that if we're going to win some games maybe we're not supposed to win, we better have our best players on the field. And
well, you don't get any complaints from the kids either.
No, well, except for being too tired. But no, it's going to be a process for us to learn. But it is exciting that some of these kids are getting the opportunity to maybe play some positions they had never played before. All right, moving over to the special team side, Austin Hill, he's senior kicker. He had a really good night kicking the ball the other night. I thought he struck the ball well, had a good early touchback, I think, which gave him some confidence. Kind of mishits this, but it actually worked out perfect where it bounced around, and we were able to get downfield, and that's Riley Pavlis having a tackle right there later on in the game. I think Jalen Peterson gets the tackle, but we put 2 of our better tacklers over there to their sideline, and we felt like we were able to kind of keep everything pinned inside and kind of let those 2 guys run free to the ball right there. So just a good job covering down the field. And their average starting position was the 20, I think actually the 19-yard line the other night.
I was just going to say, if you start everybody at 20.
Anytime you make a team go 81 yards to score, you're up in your chances to get stopped.
Like those odds.
I think this was actually the clip I was just talking about. Again, he makes solid contact with that. Got it up in the wind a little bit. Nope, this is what the kid bobbles this one. So there's Trent Peterson, Jalen's brother, younger brother of Deshaun Peterson from last year, going downfield. And he had a bunch of tackles last year on kickoff. And so, we put him on there, and he takes pride in running down the field and making plays. He kind of loses his helmet there, but he was fine. He popped back up, went to the sideline, took the play off, and went right back out there. But again, I was really pleased with our kickoff coverage the other night. Guys getting down the field, getting off blocks, and then again, that start field position right there is 13-yard line. All right, that was probably his best kick of the night. Got great height, got it down to the goal line right there, and there's Jalen Peterson with the tackle right there coming off the edge. He'd overran it earlier in the game. We talked to him at halftime about breaking down and being under control, and does a great job right there. The kid kind of comes right at him, but you see him kind of break down, shimmy his feet, sink his hips, and then make solid contact. Brings the guy down again. Start field position, 18-yard line. So we'll take that any day of the week. So again, Austin did a great job striking the ball, and then the guys around him did a great job covering for him. Austin, I think, went 5 for 5 on the night on PATs, so just a really good night kicking for him. This was our last touchdown, so this is the block kick. Jalen Peterson right here, boom, comes off the edge, blocks it. Ball kind of bounces around, and there comes number 7 right there, Devin Mack, falling on top of it for the touchdown. So a junior with the blocked punt and a junior with the touchdown recovery. So this was actually our special teams play of the week right here. Our player of the week was Jalen Peterson. He, anytime you can block one off the edge and recover it, that's a huge play. So he was nominated for our special teams player of the week this week.
Well, it certainly is entertaining to watch a game like that, and I know you've got a tough one coming up this weekend at Cleveland as well.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. Let's take a break real quick first, and we'll come back and talk about that.
Well, Coach, I know you've got 50 players on the team, but you've got to sort of weed them out, and there's got to be a player or two of the week.
Yeah, anytime you win 49-0, it's hard to just narrow it down to a few. But our offensive players of the week this week was a sophomore making his first start at center, Jacob Baez. So tremendous night for him for the sophomore.
That's a nice honor for a sophomore.
Absolutely, first ever varsity game. So he was a little bit nervous, but he played really well. Our defensive player of the week this week was Dennis Peterson. He was another one making his first ever varsity start. So at linebacker, had a really good game. So our special teams players of the week, we talked about them. Jalen Peterson with the big block punt, but then Drew Bingham also did a really good job returning punts for us the other night. Our big hit came from Jalen Higgins from our cornerback position. You don't normally see big hits from your corners, but they went and cracked the safety, and he did a great job replacing and struck the guy down right through his thighs. So that was a really big hit. The big play we talked about with Lorenzo Lewis on the interception, early in the game. So that was a great momentum deal for us, but also a huge confidence booster for him as well. And then our big, what we call offensive crush of the week was Isaac Hernandez on the first touchdown run of the year. He 10, 15 yards down the field and kind of buries the linebacker that he's blocking. So that was a big job for him too. So, and then our 3 practice players of the week this week were Sutton Wilson, Nick Vines, and Evan Edwards. They gave us a great look all week, and they did a tremendous job helping us get ready for Friday night.
Well, can I add one more to that?
Go ahead.
Let's give the coaches a round of applause.
Yeah, really proud for our
that?
coaches. No, we've been working hard. Obviously, last season we came up just short of one of our goals, and that was to get back in the playoffs. And so, we met a lot as a staff this offseason. Did a great job meeting this winter and kind of just getting things worked out and narrowed down. And they worked hard this summer, and we've been going since July 24th with coaches meetings and practices. And so, it was first game of the year, but we've been doing this for a long time, and so really proud for the coaches and the effort that they've been able to put forward so far.
Well, they all did a great job. Obviously, the kids did their job, but you got to have somebody helping them out to get them started.
Yeah, and we've got a great staff. I don't brag on my coaches enough, but they do a tremendous job again getting our kids ready to play week in and week out.
Well, this weekend and this week out, we've got to go to Cleveland. That's Texas, not Indiana or wherever they are. Take on the Indians in a 7 o'clock game. So tell us a little bit about Cleveland.
Yeah, so Cleveland is a game we picked up last year, and they came down here and we beat them, I think 41-20 at homecoming. We played really well that night. So But they've got some athletes on their team, and so it'll be a good test for us this week. They're going to be big and physical up front. Their defensive line is really solid. They play hard and they're really physical up front. So that'll be a challenge for us trying to run the ball. And but I'm excited. They offensively they're a little bit more of a spread than what we just saw with Aldine. So it'll be a good challenge for our kids. But we're excited for the opportunity. We're excited to. It's about an hour and a half from here, so it'll be a little bit of a bus ride for us, but we'll get up there in plenty of time, let our kids stretch their legs out, and hopefully at 7 o'clock we're ready to play and play well.
Well, I think they played obviously well this week, and it's a good job to start the season like that. That's always helpful, and you got a tough game, as you say, with Cleveland, but we look forward to bringing it to everyone next week with the highlights. So for Carl Gurgis, my coach here, my good buddy here, Coach, thanks a lot for joining us, okay?
Carl, I appreciate it, man.
Okay.
Thanks. Good to be back, and Jacket Pride never dies.